Hello students. Now in continuation of the importance of the soil, we will see one more topic, which is the properties of a soil. Now when I am talking about properties of a soil, okay, the soil plays a major role in the development of a crop. Okay. Now if the soil is fertile, okay, if the soil is fertile, then the crop yield will be more. Okay, and if the soil is not that fertile, the crop yield will be less. Okay, simple logic. So India being an agricultural nation, okay, so it has a lot of agricultural land, okay, and these properties are looked upon by the various soil testing centers which are there, and then the farmers are advised to use this particular crop for this season, so that they are also benefited, and also the soil is nutrition value is replenished. Okay, right? Now moving on. Now crop quality directly depends on the quality of the agricultural soil on which it is grown. So crop quality depends on the soil in which it is growing. If the quality is less, as I said, the growth will be less. If the quality is more, the growth will be more. Okay, then to improve how to obtain high quality soil, we must first understand the fundamental properties of the soil. These can be divided into three categories. So in order to make the soil produce high quality, first we need to understand what is there inside the soil. Okay, so that property of the soil has to be understood. So these can be divided into three categories. First one is the physical property, second one is the chemical property, third one is the biological property. Okay, right? Now let's see them one by one. Physical property. Soil comprises of minerals, organic matter, water and air. We have seen this earlier. Okay, the composition and proportion of these components greatly influences physical property of the soil, including color, texture, structure and porosity. Okay, right? So minerals present in the soil play a major role. Okay, right? And when these components are present, so if say for example mineral content is less, organic content is more, water is more, air is a little less, so that soil will have a different property. Okay, but if the mineral content is more, organic matter is more, water is also sufficient, air is also present, so that quality of the soil will be different. That's what is given here. So depending upon these factors, okay, these factors, the color, texture, structure and porosity. Porosity means the ability to absorb water, okay, right, into the soil. So that also is very important in the physical property of soil. Okay, now these properties regulate and affect air and water movement in the soil and the soil ability to function. So depending upon the movement of depending upon the quality of the soil, the movement of the air and water can be seen. Okay, if the soil is very loose, the air can enter easily, the water also can enter easily. If the soil is very tough, the air and water cannot enter that very easily. Okay, right? So that is a factor which also plays in judging the property of a soil. Okay, then you have organic matter is the organic component of the soil, which includes dead and decaying plants, animals and residues of organisms. So this you already know. Okay, so when I say organic matter is the organic component of the soil which includes dead and decaying plants. So dead and decaying plants are there in the soil, animals and residues of organisms. Residues means the droppings basically, okay, of the organisms are present. So that is the organic matter taken care of. Then soil which contain 30% or more organic matter are considered to be organic soil. So generally in the earlier session I had told you that it contains around 20 to 25%. Now basically it is 30% or more. Okay, right? So soil which contains 30% or more organic matter is considered as organic soil. That means it is very rich in organic nutrients. Okay, all other soils are identified as mineral salt. So if this content of organic matter is 30% or more, it is considered as a organic soil. If not, it is not there, then it's a mineral soil. Okay. Now, organic matter in soil improves water infiltration. So this is very, very important. That's why people look for organic soil. So organic matter in the soil, it improves the water infiltration, then decreases evaporation and increases the water holding capacity. So which is very, very essential for the growth of the plant. So this organic soil is very, very highly priced. Okay, this organic soil is very highly priced. So why it is highly priced? Because of this. It improves soil infiltration, then it decreases evaporation and increases water holding capacity. Okay, it increases the water holding capacity, right? Moving on to chemical properties of the soil. So when we look at chemical properties, the term pH is used to indicate the level of acidity or alkalinity of a soil. So when we're talking about chemical properties, definitely the pH of the soil is looked upon. pH is nothing but the negative log of hydrogen ion concentration in that particular soil. Okay, right? Is used to indicate the level of acidity or alkalinity, acidity or basicity basically of a soil. Alkalinity means that. The range of pH value of a good soil lies from 5.5 to 7.5. So this is the range, 5.5 to 7.5. Okay. Now below pH 7, the soils are termed as acidic, and above pH 7, the soils are termed as alkaline or basic. Okay, below pH 7. Okay, right? Then the pH of the soil is important to know the type of vegetation that grows in the soil and the type of organisms that live there. So this is very, very important. So the pH of the soil is very, very important, because depending on the pH, the vegetation is decided. Okay, right? Then also, presence of organic matter in the soil has a close relationship with soil pH. So if the soil is acidic, there will be certain particular organisms which are growing in that, which are favorable for those organisms. If the pH of the soil is basic, then there will be particular organisms which are favoring the basic conditions. Okay, right? So that is why that point is made here. Okay. Now soil richer in organic matter is acidic. Organic matter is acidic in nature. Okay. Soil rich in organic matter is acidic in nature as a result of degradation of various substances that produces various acids in the soil. So you know that organic matter is full of nutrients when it starts decomposing. So the organic matter, the soil nature is acidic. Okay, it is acidic because various substances get decomposed, or they come out of the body when it is decomposing. Okay. Now availability of plant nutrients depends on the pH of the soil. So nutrients of the plant depends on the pH of the soil. All right. Then now the availability of sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium and sulfur tends to decrease with decreasing pH since conditions which acidify the soil, such as weathering and plant uptake, also result in the removal of these nutrients or decrease of microbial activity. So what does this point mean? These minerals which are there, or these elements which are there in the soil, they tend to decrease with the decreasing pH conditions. When the pH is decreased, these also decrease. Why they are decreasing? Because of, say, weathering or the plant uptake. Okay, the contents of these can vary in the soil depending on all these conditions, that is weathering, plant uptake or microbial activity. Okay, so this is basically what is chemical properties of a soil. Then you have biological properties of a soil. Okay, you have biological properties of a soil. Now when we talk about biological properties of a soil, you have some important biological properties are respiration rate. Okay, first one is the respiration rate. Now CO2 evolution under standard laboratory conditions or at the field. Okay, now some of the important factors which decide the biological factors of the soil. So respiration rate actually decides the biological behavior of the soil. So respiration rate, that is CO2 evolution under standard laboratory conditions or at the field. So this is one of the factor which decides, biological factor. Then potential mineralization, potential N or C mineralization, that is nitrogen and carbon mineralization. Okay, right. Increase in the mineral nitrogen or carbon content under standard laboratory conditions. So these also decide the factors. So basically I am actually telling you the factors which decide the biological behavior of the soil. Then earthworms, density of the earthworm. So what is the earthworm? Earthworm, you know, they are called as farmers' friends because they keep dwelling and increase the porosity of the, not porosity, I'm sorry, they increase the spaces between the soil so that the air can enter. Okay. Then bacterial biomass, total bacterial biomass of a given soil mass. Okay. So what are the bacterial biomass which is present in the soil, which actually in turn increases the fertility of the soil. Next, bacterial biodiversity. Now it can be determined by functional groups or describing genetic diversity, right? So what do you mean by functional groups? So what are the bacteria present in that particular, and how are they functioning in groups or in groups, or they are doing it in a small individual activity. That is what is looking here. And or describing genetic diversity. So genetic diversity, now because of the conditions of the soil, the bacteria can mutate itself and change. So that is why you have genetic diversity over there. Then presence of a pathogens, presence of pathogens. Now pathogens, you know, they are disease causing organisms. Now by different pathology techniques, from cultures of DNA, from cultures to DNA profiling. So when you're looking at the biological properties of a soil, DNA profiling and culture of the pathogen is very, very important. So if you do that, the biological dependency of the soil, that on the dependency of soil on biological factors will be understood if you're doing cultures and DNA profiling. Okay, right? So we have seen three types of characteristics, that is properties of a soil, that is physical, chemical and biological. Now let us see this picture once. Okay, let us see this picture once. Okay, now when we are looking at the picture, emerging organic wastes. Now this is basically the, I'll change the color of the pen so that it will be easily understood. All right, now you have biochar, brown coal waste. Okay, right? So what has improved the soil productivity is what we're going to look at. Okay, right, biochar or brown coal waste, that is the physical property here. Biochar is nothing but your microbial char which is coming out. Okay, char in the sense it is the organic waste. Okay, then so this is going into the soil. Okay, then soil organic matter. Okay, so these are, when they are going into the soil, they are increasing the amount of, say, organic matter in the soil, which is then giving out us the elements which are required for the growth. Okay, so that is actually soil organic matter. Now this soil organic matter is improving the soil quality. It is actually improving the soil quality. Now what are the soil quality indicators? We have just seen the biological, the chemical and the physical. Okay, right? Now when all these factors, okay, when they are working together, you get improved soil productivity. Okay, and obviously organic waste only you can recycle back. Okay, you can recycle, and from here this is the biochar, and from here you can go to the soil organic matter which is already there, that is improving the soil quality with the biological, chemical and physical agents, and that is actually improved productivity, and this plant is able to grow properly. All right, so these are basically the soil properties that we have seen today. So I hope that you have understood this chapter very well. Thank you so much.